Hi, my name is Trapper Hallam, and I'm one of your instructional technology coaches. In this video, we're going to give you a quick overview of what TIP is. TIP is Utica Community Schools Technology Integration Plan. In this overview, we're going to show you how it can work for you to help integrate technology into your content and your classroom. And we'll also show you how that can work for us to help us create better quality professional development for you. All right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look. The district's Technology Integration Plan, also known as TIP, is a framework that will help guide us in integrating technology into our daily classroom routines. Many times, the inclusion of technology is an afterthought to our curriculum design. TIP will bring the integration of technology to the forefront of our planning and help us create a more inclusive and student-centered classroom that promotes student voice and creativity. To create a technology integration plan, we first need to consider our audience, teachers, and their knowledge. Knowledge is probably the most important aspect in understanding what choices teachers make while teaching. Teachers have a wealth of knowledge, so much so, we need to find the primary sources of knowledge that would be the major factors in the integration of technology. These primary sources of knowledge can be modeled by the TPAC Framework. TPAC is a technology integration framework that identifies 3 primary types of knowledge that instructors need to combine for successful technology integration. TPAC is just a component of the messy reality of teachers' work with technology. It's not meant to represent everything, but rather 3 really core components: technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. TPAC can be best understood as a Venn diagram of technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. TPAC gets really interesting at the intersections of the 3 primary sources of knowledge. Let's take a second to understand these. The intersection of content and pedagogy is called pedagogical content knowledge, or PCK. PCK is understanding the best practices for teaching specific content to your specific students. This is the expertise of teachers and their ability to teach. Next, let's look at the intersection of technological and content knowledge, or TCK. TCK is knowing what digital tools are available and how they work to transform your content. This has been an area of great growth recently for all teachers during our time in remote and hybrid teaching. Finally, we will look at the intersection of technological pedagogical knowledge, or TPK. TPK is the understanding of how best to use digital tools to achieve learning goals. This is something that teachers are starting to develop. With the recent increased knowledge of digital tools, teachers are starting to redesign their lessons by integrating their newfound digital tools to achieve better learning outcomes. All of this comes together in the center of the Venn diagram, otherwise known as TPAC. TPAC represents a full understanding of how to teach with technology. This is not the same as having knowledge of each of the 3 primary concepts individually. However, this is a collective knowledge of how best to integrate all 3 primary sources of knowledge to achieve better technology integration. It's also important to note that TPAC may reflect a group of teachers working together where each one brings one of the 3 primary knowledges to the table, and together they achieve TPAC. TPAC is a great framework to begin building our technology integration plan from. It's encompassing, specific, and highlights the key interactions that define technology integration. We will consider TPAC as our all-encompassing umbrella. As you may already know, frameworks and models are not without their flaws, and TPAC is not an exception to this. If we take a closer look, we will see that while it provides a structure to understanding the primary areas and their complex interactions, it does not show us how to integrate technology. There are noticeable holes for the application of technology integration. Breaking that down further, we see a need for a framework that shows us how to apply technology integration. specifically in the areas of TCK and TPK. We can fix it. By we, I mean your friendly neighborhood ITC Geeks and a photogenic rat. I'll explain more in a minute. Actually, we have been fixing it. All of the training and PD we've provided during this time of remote teaching was dedicated to informing you about what technology was available and how to use it. In TPAC terms, we have been supporting your technological content knowledge, or TCK. In addition, we have also supported how best to use this technology, which equates to technological pedagogical knowledge, or TPK. While this has been effective, we would benefit from having a model that will give teachers and ITCs a common understanding. Let's introduce PICKRAP, the photogenic rat. PICKRAP is a model that expands on a well-known rubric by incorporating a very simplified version of Bloom's taxonomy with the often used rat framework. This model assumes that there are two foundational questions that a teacher must ask about any technology use in their classroom. These include: 1. What is the student's relationship to technology? And 2. How is the teacher's use of technology influencing traditional practice? The framework considers the intersection of these two questions and provides a matrix that shows where technology integration falls. Additionally, the matrix is intended to encourage teachers to reflect on their practice and consider ways to move their technology use towards the upper right of the matrix. Let's take a closer look at the matrix. The left column represents interactions students have with tech. As you go up the column, interactions increase from passive to interactive to creative. In relationship to TPAC, this would represent the TCK and also Bloom's taxonomy. The bottom row represents how technology affects traditional learning. As you move to the right, the effects increase from replaces to amplifies and finally transforms. In relationship to TPAC, this would represent TPK. This matrix is only a representation of the amount of technology integration. It is not an evaluation. You should understand that lessons and activities may fall anywhere at any time on the matrix. It's also important to note that some activities are better suited as passive or replacing. As you reflect, you may find that you want to increase the student interactions with technology or how much it transforms traditional practice, but it's not necessary for every lesson to be in the creative transformative box. In any case, some lessons will be more interactive and transformative than others. Now let's take a look at some common examples of technology integration and where they fall on the PICKRAP matrix. A PowerPoint lecture would be a passive interaction for students but replace your traditional standard lecture. Digital flashcards would be more interactive for students but only replace the traditional use of regular flashcards. Having students journal in a blog or creating a PowerPoint is very creative, but it is only replacing the ability for students to journal and/or create a presentation. Having students watch a video is still a passive activity. However, it is amplifying any content that you gave about that in your class. Additionally, having an expert may have a video call with your class is still passive for your students. It is transformative in terms of traditional practices. Having students play a problem-based learning video game is both interactive and transformative in its nature. And then at the top of our chart, if you have students create a video documentary, it's both creative and transformative compared to traditional practices. As you can see from this infographic, combining TPAC's understanding of knowledge and complex interactions between them with PICKRAP's easy-to-use technology integration matrix, we can create an award-winning combination, which we like to call TIP. Hopefully this infographic better helped you understand Utica Community Schools' technology integration plan. We look forward to continuing this conversation to better achieve an understanding of technology and how best to integrate it into our classrooms. And as always, thank you for joining our session. And until next time, take care.